welcome back to TSFL Live Epler Cup Edition. Let's go ahead and get into this game. We're going to talk a couple of things about this game, and we're going to go down and see who has the edge in each one of these categories here. That game is going on at 12 o'clock. It is sponsored by TSFL, where real athletes play. And let's start off with the offense. Marcel, who has the edge in the offensive category in this game?
Where's the edge in the offensive category? Tigers. Anytime you got a quarterback throwing no-look 40-yard passes on the button, sitting there, the few times your receivers did cover them and stay with them, he was still getting the ball to them. You got to go with that.
Yeah.
They have a major advantage at the most important position out there on the field.
Right.
On offense.
I think Jimmy is, some disputed, but I think he's the best quarterback in the league.
I don't see who would dispute that.
I've heard some people dispute it. So, I think he's the best quarterback in the league.
They're crazy. Whoever's disputing it, I'd say Marcus hands down the number 2 quarterback. So anybody else who's disputing it is number 3 and below, so it doesn't even matter.
Yep, I agree. Mark, tell us a little bit about your offense.
The offense that's going. What'd you say?
I didn't say nothing.
Smack.
Our offense, I think the beauty of our offense is we're going to take what you're going to give us. We were talking about this off the air. I like to say we have guys with no egos. Marcel differs.
Yes.
But when I say no ego, I mean ultimately we all know what our goal is to win the championship.
Right.
So everybody that plays offense, especially receivers and running backs, you have track records that our running backs have. Jabari Scott, rushed for over 2,000 yards his senior year in high school, went on to play at Youngstown State. You want somebody that wants the ball.
Exactly.
So it's not that I'm saying they don't all want the ball, but there is only one ball. But Greg, and the more he plays center, the more I have to kind of help out because he can't see everything. But the beauty of our offense and that Greg's come up with our whole scheme is we'll take whatever you give us. If you want to protect us going over the top, we'll take dumps. And I think my athletes are good enough to beat your athletes, most of the time.
Yeah.
And if you want to try to creep up and try to pressure Kelly, I think we can throw over the top. So I think that's the beauty of our offense is you can game plan like, okay, we haven't changed what we ran for 2 years. And,
so you think y'all's athletes are better than the Titans athletes?
I think
you just said that's supposed to like.
Well, I was just talking in general as our offense.
So I'm asking you in general, do you think y'all's athletes are better than their athletes?
I think they have the best athletes out there on the team, yes. They do.
On their team?
Yeah. Against our athletes.
But that's not
they compare the closest to our athletes.
I asked you a simple yes or no question, though, sir.
You're not going to set me up like this.
I'm not
I'm just telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I think.
And I'm asking you.
I think they have the closest athletes to us. I think both our teams are the most athletic teams in the league.
But is that yes
at different positions? Who's more athletic than Andre?
They do have a lot of athletes.
I don't know if anyone's more athletic than Andre.
Yes or no?
Well, I'm gonna say
I'm not.
They do have the better athletes.
Who?
The Tigers. I'll say it.
Do you agree with Dante's statement?
I'm not going to agree or disagree. I'm telling you, different positions have different people. I don't think anyone is a better athlete in the league than Andre. You can call it what you want. I'm not worried about that.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think you guys do have the better offense, giving you guys the edge in offense as opposed to the Titans. I think the Titans, they have L, but I don't know if it's the receivers or the quarterback. Or a combination of both, but I don't think they have the receivers that you guys have, nor the quarterback. And I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback this game for them, but I definitely give y'all the edge because other than L, I really don't see anybody else having a big game or just a breakout, standout game unless they just come out of nowhere because they haven't shown it to us all season. So in the offensive category, I'm giving the edge to you guys. Marcel? And we know who you got. So let's go ahead and move
So why
on.
can't you tell me that?
I did tell you that, but I don't think I think you have to line it up and say, okay, this guy. I mean, they have some guys on the team that are better athletes than our guys. I don't doubt that at all. But you want me to say overall we're more athletic? I mean, their whole team is athletes, so I don't know how you want me to judge that. Like
Better than Greg?
Greg? Yeah, I mean, more athletic? Yeah. I don't think anyone on the defense is not more athletic than Greg. My guys are not, like, I could keep it real with my guys. I'm not trying to lie to them. Like, I'm not trying to, but I'm going to believe in my team.
Okay, so will Greg be the starting quarterback next season for you guys?
No. What does that have to do with anything?
Don't
though?
say
Like, you just want to start crap, and I'm not going to fall for that anymore. Like, what does that have to do with anything that we're talking about a championship game this Sunday?
And then you went to keeping it real. So
no, yeah, okay, and I kept it real. So
I thought we was gonna have a segment, where keeping it real goes wrong.
Well, we're gonna get into that topic here in just a minute. Let's talk about.
To set it, and it's getting on my nerves.
Let's talk about the defense.
I did no such thing.
All right.
Let's talk about the defense and who has the edge in this category. Mark, I'm gonna go ahead and let you start off.
I think their defense has the edge over our defense.
Plain and simple.
I wouldn't say plain and simple. I think that the athletes that they have on the side of the ball, they have. I mean, I'm trying to think in my head. They have an athlete at every position on their defense.
They have a strong defense.
They stick to their scheme really well. Our defense technically is ranked #1, so I don't want to say a clear cut. But if you go by numbers, our defense is allowed the least amount of points.
12 points a game.
12 points a game, and I don't know what the Titans are at. I'm pretty sure they're not far from that. But I just think their defense is what carries their team. So they're more of a leader on their team, and where I think our offense carries us. And I know Ben had this talk with you, but Ben's a defensive player.
Your coach said it too. So
yeah,
couldn't meet BV.
But I mean, like I said, that as their defense goes, their team goes. As our offense goes, our team goes. Our defense is good. I mean, you got Richard, Bailey, Ben, Alaric, Vince. So we're not no slouches on defense. But I just think that's their key to their team. I think we're an overall team, but I don't really know how to say it. If I'm going to give the advantage, and maybe I'll light a fire under my own team, I don't know. But I think their defense, other than just obviously numbers, is better than our defense.
Okay. Marcel, with Mark saying that their defense has the edge, give me two positions in which they are better at.
Who, the Titans or the Titans?
The Titans.
The Titans?
Where they do have the edge at on defense.
And I'm gonna tell about myself again, and Ben's gonna hate me, but I gotta go with corner. Off top. Better corner. Like, Andre shuts down.
Better corner. That's what you just said right now.
Yeah, better corner. Like, Andre's a shutdown corner. I don't know who was playing corner last week because they had Cam at safety.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's their new scheme or what. But like, even Cam, that's my boy, but he's not Andre. Like, he's a good corner, but Dre's like a shutdown corner. I don't think nobody in the league is up there with him. Like, you see what they were doing when they played the Crew. They weren't throwing at him. Like, they seldom do his way. But that honestly would be the one clear-cut advantage that I could really think of. Other than that, man, I can't really find any other like clear-cut advantage. I think they're pretty evenly matched in every other area, to be honest. And maybe even honestly, I'd probably have to give the edge to the Tigers in as far as their rushers. Because how do you block Vince?
Yeah. Well, one of the things about Vince is that he's really, really long. No homo.
That's what I'm saying.
And he can get in those passing lanes when they do pass. So if he can get in the way of in between L and that passing lane, then he can cause some havoc back there. But do you give the edge to the Tigers?
I mean, you have to. Like I said earlier, last season, they were allowed 11 points per game. This season, they lost their rusher Pat.
Gotcha.
They lost Pat. Their one of their big time rushers. Shifted their defense, moved Bailey from DB to linebacker a lot of times. They've been switching around a lot of stuff, and they still haven't really lost a beat. That they're only allowing 1 point per game more than they were last season.
Right.
So I mean, you got to give them the edge. Overall, I mean, I don't know if it's. I mean, I think some of it has to do with, and no disrespect to the defense, but some of it has to do with the offense. When you got an offense like they have that is so fluid every game and continuously consistent, I mean, they don't really have to play that hard because the other team has to throw the ball more. They don't really got to worry about so many dumps, so they're playing into their hands. They know what to expect. So that I feel like that kind of gives them an edge because teams are just like so busy trying to keep up. They're always playing from behind.
Well, you brought up a good point that we're willing to get when we get up when we're about 1 or 2 scores, we're willing to go with the dump and let you try to sustain drives.
And nobody wants to take the time to do that. So
right, and people like to go deep. Right. But the disadvantage that they actually have is they actually do play a lot because our offense scores so daggone quickly at times. I mean, my guys are dog tired against the Longhorns. And no disrespect, I'm not trying to talk smack, but I mean, the one play we scored 9 seconds before halftime. I think the first play out of the second half we scored in 1 play. So it's like they actually do play more because our offense scores so fast at times that it actually kind of gets some fatigue. But we're deep. With Epler suiting up, the past couple games we can rotate a corner with a couple rushers. I'm comfortable. That's kind of our. That was a void we needed to fill when Pat got hurt. With Vince coming in and Mike, another guy that I probably don't know about, but 28, he stepped up and played. So like now guys are starting to step up into that role. So I feel comfortable. But that was a good point that you said a lot of teams don't want when they have to play from behind, they're having to throw a lot more. But the other side is that my defense is on the field a lot more. So
speaking of defense, now we know that your offense did not have Jimmy during the regular season. That is where they, the one advantage that they did have when they played you guys in the regular season. And ultimately, I mean, and I think Marcel can attest to this, is that helped them carry them to a win. Not taking anything else from the Titans, they won that game fair and square, but Jimmy is a big component in the Titans getting that win.